Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. And we'd like to talk today about a better way for dealers to accept payments. And we all know that quick and efficient payments mean both happy customers and happy employees. And I'll take it one step further, happy managers as well. And let's face it, processing transactions should be easy. Today, I'm very honored to introduce to you Julie Douglas, who is the president of Dealer Pay. Julie, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. Glad to be here.
Julie, again, great honor to have you, and great honor to have this topic to talk about today. It's something that we have really not gone through in any detail at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So before we do, give us a little background. Tell us, what is Dealer Pay?
Sure. So I started Dealer Pay just under 10 years ago. It is both a payments and point of sale solution for dealers, specifically for dealers. We encapsulate everything, every way they take payments in each of the departments, and help them maximize their customer retention, help them increase productivity, and help them save money.
And I don't know that there is anything else like that specifically for dealers. Julie, tell us, what's your background?
So, like I said, I started Dealer Pay 10 years ago, but I started in the industry just over 22 years ago. I started just working, for a large payments provider. And it happened to be the second merchant that I signed was a Nissan dealership in St. Louis. So I liked the way it worked. I liked the volume. I liked the energy. I liked that they had multiple businesses under one rooftop. So I just kept going in that vertical.
Wow.
I had managed to sell probably about 250 rooftops in about 10 years. So it was a great deal for me until it came down to, the industry needed something better. They needed something specific. And unfortunately, my existing provider was not, going to do that. So I took it upon myself to sort of step out of the comfort zone and start my own business called Dealer Pay, and side by side, my own software platform.
Let's go back just a minute or so. You mentioned you started with that one dealer, that first dealer.
Yes.
What prompted you, Julie, from there to see the opportunity for retail dealers?
Well, it both challenged me and made me excited about the opportunity because, traditionally dealers just use standalone hardware. They just assumed that it cost X. They had no idea that there were other facets to payment acceptance and transaction processing that could benefit the business. It was more of a commodity. So I saw a lot of opportunity in there. And from there, like I said, it was one Nissan store out of a group of 13. And I managed to get the rest of the group, and then really hustled in St. Louis and Illinois and so on. So.
Wow, you are the sales lady extraordinaire. Now, our industry, as you know better than anybody, is ripe for disruption. Okay, and there's disruption going on all over the car industry.
Yes.
What were the customer service model, the challenges that you were hoping to solve when you first began integrating this technology into fixed ops, specifically service and parts and body shop?
Sure. So, a lot of people don't realize that the payment is really the last experience the customer has at the dealership, whether it's in person or whether it's remote. It is the last experience. So we built a lot of functionality into our platform to offer customers multiple ways to pay, make sure how they were paying was extremely secure and fast, and, treat them how they want to be treated. Not everybody's going to come in the dealership. Not everybody wants to. So we provide dealers with the opportunity to offer those options to their customers, all while making it extremely productive for their users, specifically in fixed ops, to maintain business throughout the day.
And I would imagine that your solution, not just being efficient but being quick, also
Yes.
is of great benefit to the managers out there, and that it's a dealership is not just dealership specific, but fixed ops specific also.
Sure. So, we want to make sure that, we, process transactions as fast as possible. We don't want to generate any lines. We don't want customers to be held up for any reason at all, especially in today's world where we have to be a little bit more nimble with capturing that payment. Dealers don't want to have to mess around with, depositing checks or waiting for funding. So we have made really all of our processes so efficient that it eliminates any of those challenges.
Wow. Um, I know firsthand that service lane experience has
Yeah.
been, Julie, it's been pretty consistent over the years, and again, ripe for disruption. Give us some examples. What best practices would you recommend to our dealer and manager audience as we all continue to innovate within this space of fixed ops?
Sure. So, when I first started in the industry, it was very typical to see a cashier style environment. And, we still see
Yes.
several of those today. The concept of the service advisor doing the payment acceptance was somewhat new. And believe it or not, even today is still somewhat new to some dealers. But offering the option to do that easily with our solution, with options with hardware, et cetera, to make it fast, in my opinion, is going to be the best for the customer experience. They don't have to wait in line for the cashier and then get their bill and realize they don't understand something on it and then go back to the advisor. They can do all of that with that single touch point at the dealership. So, when the survey comes out, they're likely going to be more satisfied with the experience with just, one contact.
You're right. Going back a number of years, that was considered fairly new to have
Mhm.
the advisor doing all the cashiering as well.
Yeah.
And you see more and more of it now. Yet you're right. There are still dealerships who rely on that cashier. So I would imagine your model works with either scenario.
Yes, it absolutely does. And again, we even focus on that customer that doesn't want to come inside the dealership. We offer them several ways to pay with, text, email, et cetera. So, it's making their experience the way they want it as opposed to how the dealership wants it.
And Julie, not just mobile service, but service pickup and delivery now has
Yeah,
become very prevalent and has
sure.
been a big discussion here at this event. Talk to us a little bit about how this would work. Elaborate on that if you could, because those are huge growing areas within the fixed ops space.
Sure. So, obviously with COVID, there was the whole concept of contactless payment. And obviously it was out way before, but it became, a huge topic for dealers to be able to not only allow their customers to pay in-house contactless with, the NFC technology, using their mobile wallet or any kind of card with NFC. That was huge, but also just the concept, like you mentioned, pickup and delivery, as well as just folks that, don't want to come in at all. So solutions we offer would be, mobile in the sense where the dealership can send a hosted payment link, very secure. They could send it via text or email, very fast transaction process. And then additionally, mobile solutions, bringing out a tablet or a phone to that customer to get that swipe, chip, or tap on the device.
You're going to laugh because it was 2 years ago. A friend of mine who's a dealer in the New Jersey area he said, Ted, I think I have the solution how we can do touchless and contactless point of sale transactions. And he showed me a video where they had taken literally a wooden stick and put that swipe at the end of a stick. With the
That's
and
hilarious.
I
I've not
said,
seen
John,
that one yet.
it's got to be better in this day and age. So, um,
Absolutely,
give me
absolutely.
give me some feedback from some of your clients, from your dealers. What are they saying, and ultimately, what are the consumers saying?
So the dealers really like it. Obviously anything we do that, emphasizes modern technology at first is going to be, not well received until they actually see it and they realize how actually easy it is. And then they start seeing the reaction from their customers. Their customers really like these options, which is going to make, them obviously happier and come back, but it's also going to make that advisors job a little easier and faster. You know, some of the transactions they were traditionally doing involved a lot of paperwork and, you know, put this receipt there and the RO there. This way, it just kind of combines everything and streamlines the process. So everyone's going to be happy, you know, in fixed ops all the way up to the office.
If you don't mind, how do most dealer clients find out about you and learn about what it is that you do? How do they learn about Dealer Pay?
So I've been very fortunate to be endorsed by several state associations, specifically in the Midwest. But believe it or not, I get a lot of dealer referrals and references. You know, a lot of these guys through 20 groups or just, you know, buddies in the space have, you know, been very generous to drop my name. And of course, I'm quick to get in touch with them. And you know, typically it's a very simple process. See what they're doing today, see what we could do on our end, and you know, see if it makes sense. And a lot of times it does. So
I think that your modern technology today, you know, interacting with the phone, okay, the way consumers today all have this phone in their hand,
yep.
employees have this phone in their hand. How do you see that evolving and continuing to roll out and affect the fixed op space?
I think it's going to be absolutely necessary for dealers to have some sort of e-commerce or online platform at their dealership, whether it be, you know, kind of like we talked about before with a hosted payment link. You know, if I'm a service customer and the dealership sends me a link, you know, I can click it on my mobile phone and populate the data with my mobile wallet if I'm savvy. And then within seconds, I'm done. That can even include a copy of the RO and a signature that's digital for the dealer to retain. So I think mobile is huge. I think that there's going to be some additional technology coming out here shortly that actually ties payment information to a mobile phone, which is going to make things a lot more secure and even give opportunities for lower interchange rates on specific cards. So that's exciting in my business. So, you know, ultimately it's, you know, let's provide some technology to help things be, you know, more efficient, but now we're doing it to save money. So.
Wow. Julie, if you don't mind, and I did not ask you this question anytime prior, what % of your business is dealership and dealership based of all the business that you do?
99%. I have a few standalone body shops and a couple of repair shops out there, but everybody else is either a franchise dealer or an independent.
I don't think anybody can say that. And let's talk real quick about the body shop and collision center. What benefits can you offer them as well, you know, on top of what we're talking about here for the dealers?
Well, it's really the same model. You know, if the dealership doesn't have a body shop, then they work with one, right? So
Sure.
the body shop is going to have the same experience that dealers do with the convenience of payments. You know, they do take, you know, insurance checks for a lot of the down payments, but sometimes and a lot of times there's a balance. So, you know, we make it convenient for that customer to pay while they're getting their car fixed, whatever kind of issue they had at the body shop. Very similar to, you know, any other department in the dealership, to be honest. So it works well.
So, Julie, in closing, let me ask you this. I mentioned disruption. The whole industry is going through various stages of disruption. I think that this is probably the next frontier, if you will, you know, for disruption. What advice do you have for dealers, you know, for the balance of this year who are looking at that transaction, the way it's done, the speed in which it's done, the convenience that it's done for the consumer, you know, both online and remotely? What advice would you give dealers?
I would say, you know, embrace technology. A lot of times, you know, I get that response, if it's not broke, don't fix it. In this case, you may not really understand what's actually broken. So I would embrace new technology that's going to make things more convenient, more secure, because, you know, compliance is a big thing. And, you know, just make sure that whoever you're working with, specifically to payments, really knows your industry and what challenges you have and your objectives to, you know, increase customer retention and more, you know. And I think, you know, if that's, you know, encouraged and, you know, pushed down to the staff, they're going to see some really, you know, big noticeable improvements. So.
All right. Great stuff, Julie. All right. How does our audience, our dealers, our managers, if they want more information on dealer pay and what you can do for them specifically, how do they get a hold of you?
You can contact me directly. We have a website with a contact us page at dealer-pay.com. You can email me directly at julie@dealer-pay.com or call my mobile 314-578-3142.
And it looks like that's the information that we have in the scroll down below. So, and you know what? It's actually, Julie, very refreshing that you are basically 100% in the retail dealership and automotive space, that, you can relate to all the pain points that dealerships and managers have. So, Julie, I'd like to invite you back to continue this conversation at the next Fix Ops Roundtable. And I invite our audience to learn more about what Julie Douglas and what Dealer Pay can do for you. Julie, on behalf of the Fixed Ops community and the Fixed Ops Roundtable, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Ted.